Hello, my name is Swiss Bianco. In this video I will talk again about Switzerland, in this case about the church in Switzerland and how that works pretty much in all the German speaking parts of Europe, Germany, Austria, and I know this is a bit a tough matter for many of you. So first I want to say I'm not gonna offend anybody here. I know in USA the church is pretty big and all that. So I do this video not to offend anybody, just to educate how I got it in Switzerland. And we have to see what we really know in life is basically only what we experienced ourselves. That I always refer to it like it's a round cake and you slice it into pieces, and only that piece, that tiny piece that you experience yourself, that you really know 100% how it was. But the rest you just have to rely on news and books and TV, the internet, and what other people say, and many times that is unfortunately not the truth or real or a complete fake for whatever reason those people did that. I'm just saying we know only what we had ourselves, and then also if we had relatives or friends that we could trust and they saw in their lifetime or on their side a bit what they had of that slice of the cake, and they tell you how they feel about it, how they experienced it, so we can rely a little bit on that as well, but we never get the same impression as we would see that, experience that part of the life for ourselves. So if we have people that we can trust and they tell us and they explain it to us how they got it there, that helps. And on this video I have no reasons to lie about anything. I got already 2 lifetimes in my body here, how it feels. It's basically from the birth to good 40 years old I was in Switzerland and Europe, and from 40ish years on I live in USA, which is a complete different story in many regards with my green card and all, and therefore I have the unique position to tell a bit about the 2 sides, the 2 pieces of that slice of the cake that I got, the US one and the Swiss one. And in this video I'm gonna talk about the church in Switzerland. So in Switzerland 2 main churches are the Catholic Church, of course, and then the Protestants, as we name it in Switzerland. That is the Lutheran Church. That was a bit a reformed church, they say, back in the medieval times, that did change the Catholic Church and split it a bit, and there already a lot of bad thing happens to people because they had war just because of religion and did kill each other and harm each other just for that. And then of course there are many smaller churches in Switzerland, Sekten as we call it, basically smaller free churches, or however you want to name it, that from the number of people you would never get a majority out of the people. Many different smaller ones there, many kinds of churches, as they call it, and that is pretty okay as long as the people are old enough. They can choose whatever they want to do as long as they don't harm other people. And so in Ward we had 99% only the Lutheran, the Protestantic church, and that is what I did grow up with. So Ward Village, where I did grow up, had two churches, main churches, and a little bit private, smaller things that did not have a chapel or a church or whatever, as best as I remember. Back then, that was more hiding and all that. That was not that public. So the Catholics were a small place there, and the Protestant was the biggest, and I belonged to them. And I still remember that Sunday. I was a little kid, maybe 6 or 7 or something like that, and my super dad and we had to go to the church house. Next to the church was a smaller building with a hall in it, and there you need to put down your name and your signature, and the adult, of course, that supervises the kid needed to sign that you get member of that church and get educated, or however you wanna explain that, formed in the way of that church. I was already feeling bad at that day there. Back then, as a kid, you can't think, how should I say, with the experience that you have now, but it is a start. It is a start of that slice of the cake that I referred to, and somewhere it needs to start. And there I already felt bad about it, because it was strange, and strange people and all. And then, of course, it did move on further with the school in Switzerland, which gonna be a different video, how the Schul system is in Switzerland, and it's not gonna be a nice video either about this school system we have still in Switzerland and many places all over Europe, that basically misuse the kids and form them like the system of the government wants them to. But we're not gonna go too deep into that matter, as that is a complex, different video. One day I do that. So there at school we had already religion classes, and then of course we were forced to go on Sunday morning to school, to church, and the priest that was there, we had back then a relative old one, an old-fashioned one. It's so long time ago I cannot even remember his name, and that doesn't matter for a nickel later. He was not nice, he was old-fashioned, and he did not believe in the free human at all. He just believed in his books and in his church, and that was all what he wanted to do, how it looks, and therefore we were all forced, the whole kids of my birth year back then were forced to go there on Sunday, because he made lists with the name, and he said, yeah, if you don't come, you're not gonna get the church with you. Then at the end there is a little fest as you get older, the Konfirmation. I don't know the English name and how they do that in USA. Firmung is the name in German. It's basically a gathering on a Sunday that all of the kids have a certain age, and a special ritual they do in that church for telling the kid that you are now adult and you are member of the church and all that things. And so they did force us, and they did try to say, if you don't come to church, you're not gonna get this, and somehow they did tell, if you don't get this, then you have lost in life and all that. And we see there already that was plain simple force and illegal and unhuman. So that is one side of the church, how I experienced it. That was never good in my case in Switzerland at all. And later on, as my mother and I needed to and wanted finally to step out of this great church there, we had problems too. The point is, the church taxes that we have to do in Switzerland were pretty high, and we did not wanna pay that anymore, because at that time mother was already sick and our super dad got away, and all that bad thing did happen back then. Many of you that listen to my videos, they know I did not have the best time in Switzerland, and of course there is a reason why somebody emigrates over continents in the young age of good 40 years. So that is how that is, and from time to time I tell about it. So to come back to the church matter, as mother and I did step out of that, we did do that, and then we got problems and ugly story to tell. That one man, a member of the church, did approach us, and he did tell, if we gonna step out of church, as mother gonna pass away, she never get buried on the cemetery in Worb village, and also if I ever gonna marriage, which would be typical in Switzerland, I would not be able to do the marriage in the church there. So I did just think that is plain ugly from those people, and it show it all, that they basically want to misuse and money and all, and not how it would be in the Bible or about God, to be a nice human and do well and help other people like that. So it was all a lie and a fake, and not positive. And this comes on top of many other stories that come on the air now, because in the older days that got pushed down pretty bad, that the church people many times misuse kids and young adults and other people, not only the money wise with the taxes and all that, but also about sexual misuse. There are many of those that in the church got covered up in the past, and we sure do not know all yet, but I see it from time to time popping up again, that some people, some church priests and others did sexually misuse absolutely bad kids and young adults. And that is something of the worst you can do. Those Kinderficker is absolute disgusting, and it's completely against what I would call not the Bible or church, but God, that you are nice, that you are helpful to other people and positive, and what they do is all evil and negative. They just want to misuse and grab your money so they can be living off the people like leeches would do. And I know this is hard, but this is how it happens in Switzerland and many other places in Europe. It's not like, quite likely it's gonna be in USA, because I stay out of church for the rest of my life, and I work with many people together that are members of different churches and different religions, and that works out pretty well because those people are good people, and that is what basically matters. Good people that are positive and not about religion that would harm other people in any way at all. That is not about God, that would be positive. It's about religion and the Bible and churches that would be negative. Because if we look back in history, and we need to remember about that slice of the cake that I did talk about, we do not know for sure, and the books and the history books and all that can tell us a lot, but the truth. So we see how that was quite likely never 100%, but there were for sure many people dead by religion wars. As I did grow up, we still saw that with Ireland and with the Catholics against the Protestant in Ireland and the bombings, and I was in London myself as they did put bombs into London and harm the people, and I got harmed too in a way that we had trouble with the airport, we had trouble with trains, that they stopped the train because there was a bomb alarm and all that. It's I think in the 1990s that was. So this is all negative about these matters and not about positive things, how it should be. So I stay for myself out of any church for the rest of the life and just concentrate on the good and positive things. And to the people in Switzerland, as they hear about it, this video, they may think, yeah, that is a bit over well said, but there is a lot of crime, church crime going on, and more people realize that, and less people actually are member in the church in Europe. Less and less. Many step out for whatever reason they do that, and the main churches get smaller and smaller, and after all the centuries how it looks that they leached off the people, that is about time, because the people deserve to be free and that they can be good people on their own by their self and not without forced matters, how I did experience that in Switzerland. So that much about complex thematic in Switzerland. Churches, priests, misuse, illegal taxes, and put down of good human people.